Okay, so it's been quite the morning. Welcome to my latest and greatest episode of Road to a Sub-60 400. This morning has not been without its hiccups, without its adversity, but with adversity you have an opportunity to either let it overwhelm you and quit, or pivot left or right and work your way through it or around it and come to some sort of result still. And that's exactly what I've done this morning. So the week went like this. Tuesday evening I went down and did some sprinting. Friday morning I went down and did some sprinting, and it's Sunday today. Sunday morning I woke up at about 7, assessed the calves, and they were actually feeling okay. So I thought, you know what? I said I was going to give it 4 or 5 days because I thought that I'd be hobbling around like I was after my first sprinting session. But it seems the body is slowly but surely getting used to this new stimulus. And I woke up this morning and I felt fine. I didn't feel fine, but I felt like I could definitely go for a run. Now I wasn't going to go for any sprints today, but I did decide to go down to the track at about 9 o'clock this morning, and I was going to do 5 400 meter distances. Now I wasn't going to go for any particular time. I was just going to see how that distance felt. And what I had in my head was I was going to go out relatively easy for the first 200, then try and pick it up just a little bit for that third 100, and then as I come back round the turn and head for the last 100, I was going to really try and pick it up. So I was going to run my 400s in 3 stages, and I was really looking forward to it. And I thought my calves were fine. I thought it was a great day, perfect pitch blue sky. The scenery was going to be epic. I was going to get a nice thumbnail and everything was going to go well until I got to the track, and I realized there was a whole bunch of rugby games going on. There was a whole bunch of people in the stands, and the last thing I wanted to do was, 1, pull out my camera, and number 2, have to go round and round and round in front of all these people. I thought that might not be kosher. I'm not exactly sure what the rules and regulations are, the unwritten rules and regulations I'm talking about, as far as running around a track when there's a rugby game going on at the time. So I don't think that's a every Sunday thing, but I think I just got unlucky. So I went down there and I sat around for about a quarter of an hour, and I thought, do I not? And in the end I did actually get my camera out, but lo and behold, my Bluetooth microphone receiver was low on battery. So even if I wanted to do it, once again my equipment failed me. But that's my issue because I accidentally left it on. So human error, and that was the adversity. That's the adversity that I got thrown my way this morning. So I left there with my tail between my legs, and I really couldn't be fucked doing anything because I thought, well, video's over. My opportunity to go running at the track is over. It really threw me, but I had to recite the Serenity Prayer to myself, as I always do, and know the difference between what I can change and what I can't change. And the fact is that I couldn't change a lot. I couldn't change anything about that. The only thing I could change was to put that plan A to the side and focus on a plan B. And so my plan B was to come to the gym and jump on one of those rounded treadmills that you can really get up to top speed, put the camera there, I wouldn't need any microphone, and I'd be able to get up to top speed and make a video around what my top speed is, because I don't know that. I know that I need to be running at 24 k's per hour for 60 seconds straight to make a 60-second 400 meter, but I'd never tested it. I'd never been on one of those before, and I think that's the key. That's the key to this adversity that got thrown my way, because as soon as I got on there and I started trying to get up to 20 Ks, 22 Ks, 24 Ks, I felt this pinch in my calf, and it was quite acute. It was a particular point on my calf that I hadn't felt before, and it was in the same calf that was sort of giving me issues, and I felt it, and it's more pain than I've felt so far. And I thought, oh my God, you've gone and done it, haven't you? You've gone and strained your calf. You've gone and given yourself an injury within the first 7 days of even trying this shit. So I stopped. I went back downstairs and I sat down and I thought, right, plan A's gone, plan B is really well and truly gone. I may have actually injured myself, which I was super just disappointed about, you know. And then I sat there for 5 or 10 minutes and I decided, no, I'm going to go with the plan C. So I sat on the seated row machine and I said to myself, right, you don't even need to move, just bust out fucking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sets of this, get a back pump, see how you feel, and go from there. And that's exactly what I did. So I did about 8 sets on there, then I went to another row variant, I did about 6 sets on there, and then I went to a bent over row, did about 6 sets on there, and by the end of it I actually had one of the best back workouts, or one of the most, you know, well, one of the most intense and high volume back workouts that I've done in quite some time. So plan C was actually a success, but I didn't want to leave yet because I'd woken up this morning really keen to get my heart rate up, really keen to actually do some cardio. That's what I wanted to do. So I said, fuck it, man, let's go to plan D. And I went into the functional training area, and I saw a rowing machine, and I saw a watt bike, and I said to myself, and a salt bike, and I said, right, jump on the rower, see how you go. Do 500 meters. And I did. And then I got up and I was, you know, relatively out of breath, and I said, fuck it, get on that bike and do a kilometer. And each of the, you know, distance, 500 meters on the rower and a kilometer on the bike, ended up being around about 1:50 to 2 minutes per you know, set, you could say. And so I did 3 of each. It's around about, you know, 11 to 12 minutes total. And I thought, right, am I going to go yet? No. Do I want to do some more? Yes. Should I get the camera out and at least video something? Yes, and that's exactly what I did. So for my final 2 sets on each, I did video it, and that is what you're about to see now. And you know, I would say I didn't feel my calf whatsoever. It's feeling okay at the moment. The only thing that really tweaked it was that particular angle of that, you know, of that angled treadmill, and I'd never been on one before. So it was, you know, it was my own fault, you know what I mean. I had fatigued calves. They weren't necessarily sore, but they were certainly fatigued, and the more fatigued they are, you know, the higher the chance of tweaking something or straining something. So it was all my own fault, but you know, I woke up feeling good, and now I can go home feeling good, with plan A and B out the window, but plan C and D having worked out okay. So overall, there's about an hour and 10 minutes on the weights, and a good 20 to 22, 23 minutes of cardio, and we move on with the day. So it just goes to show, you know, you've got to listen to your body, and if it's telling you one thing, pivot and try something else, because there's always something you can do. Even with a strained calf, there's always something you can do. And the last thing I'll say is from what you're about to see, the last probably, I'm going to say 30 seconds, the last 30 seconds of the last 1K distance on the bike was as hard as I could ever push myself. And it's, you know, whether it's running around a track or whether it's biking on an assault bike, it's pushing yourself through that type of, you know, level of workout and intensity that is really going to transition over to something like a Sub-60 400, because you know that was me at my max, just absolutely giving it everything I had, and that's what I'm going to have to be doing for a Sub-60 400. So it is what it is. We got the workout done, and now it's time to go home. Thanks guys, and I will see you soon.